Some of you guys want to hear from them. All right, let's talk about it then. Hey, Rob, how are you feeling?
Fantastic. Is this the fourth Comikaze? The fifth?
This is the fourth Comikaze.
I have never been here, and when my son and I came in, I was like, whoa! Yeah. I mean, how did I miss out on the show?
And the Deadpools are everywhere.
Yeah.
Look at him. Oh, Deadpool. What's up, dude? How you doing? Rob is running around high-fiving some of them. He's going to be jumping and mosh pitting later.
Okay.
So you guys can crowd surf him, right? You don't have to toss it back. You do not have to toss it back. We'll do it at the end of it. Well, let's talk real quick about that time that you and Vivian created Deadpool.
No, that's not how I do things.
You do it. Do your thing.
Here's the deal. When I go to shows now, especially with these kids, they weren't alive when we were selling millions of comics.
Right.
What I do is I tell people about my career.
That's what I want to hear.
I grew up with no other skills but to draw comic books. And so my mom was very concerned about me. My dad was okay with it. When I graduated high school, the clock went off because I absolutely had to draw comics. I got into comics. Weirdly enough, I'm the son of a pastor. And the Old Testament is very violent. And I couldn't believe that all these characters died. I'm like, there's no further adventures of Samson? So I was like, he's dead, and David died. And so anyway, then I got into comics. I'm like, this is what it's about. Superman never died. And like I said, I started drawing. I'd go to conventions like this. I'd meet people. And long story short, high school, I had like 1 year to break in my head because I was working 3 jobs. And those of you who are trying to work in, I work construction, delivered pizzas, and was the guy who cleans up your dishes at the restaurant.
Busboy.
Busboy. And every night and on the weekends, I would construction was 6 days a week. But I used all my time to draw. Broke in at a very young age. 28 years now, I've been in the business. Was hired by Marvel and DC at the same show. And I went and did a book for DC Comics called Hawk and Dove. And back then, I didn't know how well I was doing. But then they showed me, they printed the letters in the letters page in issue 3. And they were always yelling at me, Rob, you're not good enough, Rob, blah, blah, blah. It's okay, I was a young guy, I needed it. And then I read in the letters page, we love Rob Liefeld. I'm like, hey, they don't hate me. Artists are insecure, so all you see is they don't hate me. Awesome. Then I got a call to come work in the X-Men office. And that was a life-changing moment. They offered me X Factor, and for those of you who don't know, it's the original X-Men. And I said, I am not good enough to draw them. But the New Mutants was going down. It was about to be canceled. And I said, I'll take that book. And you should go back and see the issues before me. There was a guy with a big bird head. And his name was Bird Brain or something like that. And it was really weird. It was a strange book. And they let me come in and create this new teacher called Cable. And thank you, Cable is awesome. And he will, when he appears on screen, we're all gonna nerdgasm. He's coming. They can't hold him back. He's coming. And so anyway, from there, a couple issues in, the sales went from cancellation to the second highest X-Men book. And then they said, Rob, would you like to write the book? And I'm like, yes. So I had a couple of young guys who were trying, Scott Liefeld, Fabian Nicieza, and I forget the other guy. They were always going, Rob, let's do something together, And I went eeny, meeny, miny, moe. Fabian edged out Scott. We got along a little better. So Fabian joined me for the ride. New Mutants 98, which has skyrocketed, was done because I was like, this is my first time writing. I have to load the barrel. I've got to, like, they already like Cable. What am I going to do next with my follow-up? And like I said, we were now selling like 800,000 copies, an obscene amount of copies. And so when you look at that cover, and you look at Deadpool, and poor Gideon, and Domino, that was me like, loading. Like, one of these has got to work. So we introduced all 3 characters that same issue.
One of those books sold 4 million copies.
Oh, well, yeah, then that set the stage for X-Force.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, X-Force was turned down twice. I kept proposing it. And there's a guy in marketing who will live forever. His name is Sven. S-V-E-N. Sven. And Sven championed me. And he said, we should launch this book. We should not make it a New Mutants book anymore. And you guys all made it a monster hit. And that just kind of then propelled me and my peer group. Todd was on Spider-Man, Jim Lee was on X-Men, and one day we had this really stupid idea of like getting together and making our own treehouse. And because Marvel's branches couldn't hold us anymore. No, that's ridiculous. We're out in the bullpen. Yeah. So we created Image Comics and shot off like a rocket. Thank you. And you know, the rest is just been the best ride I could ever hope to be on in my entire life. From all the books we created at Image, and then I mean I've been, like I said, working 28 years non-stop, and the magic is still the same. Every time I draw, I'm as excited as I was back then.
Well, what I'm interested in is that Hawk and Dove. Like, you came out and you didn't have the confidence, you said, to be doing these books. But in issue 5, you did that thing where you made the book sideways.
Yes.
Because they were in another dimension.
Yes.
And you're like, okay, well, they're in this other dimension. The books are going to be sideways. And the editors came and cut out your panels and put them back in the right
It's better than that. DC following Crisis. Do you guys remember Crisis?
Yeah.
Crisis on Earth. We're going to reset everything.
No more, yeah. With Bullet, Superman.
Here's the deal. So everything was going to be consistent following Crisis. My good buddy Eric Larson, we launched Image Comics together. He was part of the band that went crazy. He had drawn that dimension in a book called Doom Patrol, and everything went sideways. So I'm just sitting at home going, well, everything's consistent now, so I should draw this sideways. And then the editor, who wanted to be in Hollywood, and at the time there was a Superboy show, you're not going to remember this, it was on in the late 80s.
I remember it in my nightmares.
And they filmed it in Florida, and my editor was in Florida for a month. Then he comes back and he goes, "You did this because I was gone. You did this." And I said, "Dude, I'm going to draw the X-Men. I don't care anymore." Like, those pages were fantastic. But he said, "You're not going to turn this sideways on me." And I'm like, "But the previous one, in 3 months ago, the dimension was sideways. That editor sucks, and that's stupid, and we're not going to do it that way." And I'm like, "I'm so out of here. Where's my rocket ship?" Me and DC have never worked out.
Well, yeah,
we're not spirit animals.
They even gave you Hawk and Dove
Marvel and
again.
Image are my spirit animals.
Right, but they also gave you Hawk and Dove again with the new 50.
I was the last guy hired. On the original Hawk and Dove, everyone turned it down. The only reason I got Hawk and Dove is because every one of my buddies was like, "Yeah, I was offered that. I turned it down."
I mean, you
was like, "Please."
Do you consider yourself a controversial figure in comics?
I don't, but people want me to be, so okay.
You just play a role.
What is controversial? Is it my spiked hair, my piercings?
No, I think it's the underwear commercial.
I mean, I don't get it. But I'm the guy. So here's the target, right? I mean,
And I think they call it a meltdown when you just speak your mind on Twitter. They call it a meltdown.
Yeah, if you're honest. Oh no, he's having a meltdown.
Right. Are you taking the pill, sir? Are you taking the meltdown?
I am taking. I took the pill.
We got to go back. No, you didn't. Look at you. You're like marching the chair back every time you jump.
No, but you keep me jacked up. My kid and I, we did coke in the car. Come on.
Oh Jesus! Oh Jesus! How old's your kid?
Sorry, Luke.
Oh, they know.
He's 14.
Wow.
Recreational.
Oh, okay. We got it.
All the kids at church aren't going to understand it tomorrow.
So once you did New Mutants, and once like X-Force hit #1, like at that point did you gain the confidence and you're like, I'm just going to be going?
You never.
You still have that confidence?
No, you just everything that works is out of your hands.
Right. And so anybody who's out there who wants to be a comic book creator right now, like what would you tell them? Because you did start out at 19, and I have a story from where I shop comics.
18,
where you would actually go and get the action figures and draw the action figures and learn the comics from posing. Is that a myth?
That's a complete myth.
Okay, so how did you draw? How did you learn to draw?
Here's the deal. I actually went to life drawing class.
Okay.
And was one of the best life drawing teachers in Cal State Fullerton. And he would go to me and say, "Rob, see this short little fat postman? We had a postman who would come in and
his chest was like this.
No. In life drawing, the model stands naked, for all those kids who don't know this. And our guy, he was a postman, he loved it. He'd get up there bare naked. But after you're done, everyone would turn their drawings around. And the guy would get excited during the session. It was normally 30 minutes. So depending on how fast you finished, he was in a different position, if you know what I mean. But I would give him like more musculature, and my teacher would be like, "Rob, you can't make everyone a superhero." I'm like, "Yes, I can." Here's the deal: the comics I grew up with, when Todd and Jim and myself and Eric and we popped because comics had gotten kind of dull. 4-panel grids, and we would break the panel borders. We would add speed lines. I tell people all the time. I did an interview like a couple weeks back, and I'm like, I was so into manga. mango was my secret sauce. No one else was looking at all the Japanese and the Chinese stuff. And I was going to a place in Westminster where I would get up there and they didn't speak English and I didn't speak that. And then they'd be like, and then they're like, let's add it up and I'll give you money and we don't have to talk anymore. So I would carry like this mini manga books home, and that is how, like when you look at Cable, he's manga-ish. I mean, all that gear, nobody was wearing that gear, and that was me trying to stand out. And when you see what Todd McFarlane was doing, we were trying to stand out. We were trying to break from the pack. And
all the belts and like the pouches, is that you or is that Jim?
No, that's
like with Jim.
Hey, come on,
that's you, right?
That's me.
But like, I don't remember. Why did you get on the pouch? I don't remember the panel where somebody's like, hold on, I got to get that thing, and like ever use the panel.
Dude, there's many issues with that.
But Jim bailed on it.
You're not looking. Here's the deal. I show people all the time. Look at these SWAT guys. They have 10 pouches.
Right.
Look at military. They have pouches.
And in the books they use it.
The pouch looks good on them.
But like Cable never was like, hold on, my
Dude,
contact.
Zero Dark, is that Zero Dark 30?
Yeah.
Who those guys?
Yeah, they're going after Bin Laden.
They look awesome.
They got the different scopes and
That
everything.
looks awesome. So I tried to bring awesome to comics.
Yeah. It doesn't work on Superman because Superman's just like,
Superman,
his underwear off.
Superman got a collar and a cape,
Right.
but he's awesome.
Right.
Best, great costume. Like one of the 10 best costumes ever. But you can't do that.
Right.
You can't do that. And you saw Incredibles.
Yeah.
You can't wear the capes anymore.
No. I guess
Imagine Deadpool with the cape. Oh crap.
Yeah.
Boom boom.
I think Deadpool's the kind of character who would want a cape so he could clown the characters that have
That's right.
capes.
That's right.
Chimichangas, are you a Chimichanga fan or is that just something you give to Deadpool?
You know, let's give credit. I
Yeah.
love cape. My whole family knows I'm the Mexican food guy. Taco Tuesday is where I live. If you go to Fresca's in Brea, they go, oh, Liefeld, 3 times a week. But bottom line, that's a Joe Kelly thing.
Right.
He gave him the penchant for the Jimmy, credit where it's due. So Joe Kelly, I'm pretty sure, if I'm wrong, correct me, but I think that's him.
And
Here's what I tell people. If you like the Dead People Kills People, has katanas, costume, name, background of Weapon X, is a smart ass, shoots people, can turn into a dime, that's me. I'm your guy. Breaking the fourth wall, turning and talking to you, that's Joe Kelly. Chimichangas, that's somebody else.
Savanic Energy, I think, is you.
But if,
just guessing.
Look, bottom line, if the Terminator goes back in time and pops Fabian, you still get Deadpool. You pop me, boom, I'm dead, nothing. Because I was a writer. I wrote it, I drew it, I sent it in. Comics were different then. Now I read all the time on Twitter. We're at the committee, we're deciding, what the hell?
They have their retreats.
Rob,
Their retreats.
yeah, we didn't have a retreat. It was Todd, do this, Jim, do this, Rob, do this. And then it became corporate, which is great. Which is great.
It helps us sell the books.
Yeah.
When the books aren't selling, which is what right now. Why are
Well, the magic is in the movies now.
Yeah.
Everyone gets excited about the movies.
Yeah, and
Now
is
imagine
Ryan Reynolds becoming
for
Deadpool?
5
Is he
years.
Deadpool?
That Deadpool footage, you guys see that? That leaked on
Yeah,
the
it was insane.
Thank you. You guys made that movie happen. Your reaction. That is you.
How involved are you as the guy who
Here's the deal.
Talk to us.
Following Wolverine 2009, was that it? Origins?
Yeah, the Brock report.
The Donners called me to their office and said, Rob, we want to meet and talk to Deadpool since we're spinning it off. We know we made some missteps. We want to get it right. So I sat there with a bunch of producers and we sat for several hours and we talked about different ideas and I kind of tried to steer them in directions I think. I mean, for instance, I'll tell you, first question they said, Rob, does Cable need to be in the Deadpool movie? And I said, no. Deadpool deserves his own function and Cable should come in his own movie. They were like, okay, because we were thinking about, no, you can do them both separately. They don't need to be in the same movie. But look, we had a long talk. We had some ideas. I can't share them. Some of them made it across the finish line. And then they were brilliant and hired the Zombieland writers. Those guys are fantastic. I mean, I went to see Zombieland like 5 times in the theater. I was like, this is genius. And the Deadpool script is fantastic. 3 years ago, the director, Tim Miller, he contacted me 4 years ago. 3 years ago, he goes, Rob, I want you to come up and see what we're doing. And he showed me all the pre-prep work. And then Ryan Reynolds is pulling up to film the scene that day. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what is happening? Cut to that footage is in the locker for 3 years. 3 years. And God bless whoever leaked that. Whoever leaked it and goes to jail, we need to cheer them. That movie is happening as that guy goes in cuffs, because the Fox guy told me, Rob, we have computer forensics. We will find that person. I said, Luke, I have the computer.
What you say is happening with Ryan? Like, is he your Deadpool?
Ryan is Deadpool.
Yeah.
Ryan, with that, look, Ryan Reynolds, he's gone through that same career arc.
Right.
The guy is ridiculously talented.
Hilarious.
He has a huge passion for Deadpool. Deadpool's not happening. Because he was a giant star, they said, Ryan, what do you want to do? And he said, Deadpool. That's why it happened. They would have no fake otherwise. That movie is because of his passion. He put together the team. The writers, I think the writers, they would tell you that Ryan had been put on the script. And Tim Miller is just a fantastic director. I mean, you've been watching his stuff on video game trailers for years, and now he's going to strut on the big screen, and it's going to blow your mind.
The trailer did blow. I mean, that little footage was incredible.
That's nothing of what you're going to see. That is such a...
And you're still going to be involved in the movie?
Dude, I did my part. They got to shoot the movie. I'm not behind the camera. Good. Not me.
What about cameo? What about Stan Lee to South Davis?
Up in the air.
You know what Deadpool to tell you?
Stan Lee, God bless you. Your show is awesome. He likes to be in movies.
Right.
Like, look at Robert Kirkman. Is he in The Walking Dead? No. Is Mark Millar in his movies? So I'm figuring out who I want to be.
Right.
Probably if my daughter says, Dad, will you be in it? I'll do it. She'll have to bring it up for you.
Now, what do you think about some of these Deadpool costumes?
They're awesome.
You say you want to bring a couple of these guys up?
Go, come on, Deadpool.
Deadpool's up. The fourth wall of the sticker?
The whole neighborhood is Deadpool. And I'm like, here kids, here's your candy. That's awesome.
Is Deadpool appropriate for kids?
Why not? Let's go back to the Bible. The most violent book you ever read had a 6-year-old. Here, read it, Billy. Awesome. They're murdering people in heaven.
Yeah, you guys are awesome in biblical proportions.
No, hey, let's give it up for these Deadpools, man. Oh my gosh. Hey, thank you guys. You know, the cosplay community is fantastic, and they have, we're going to give them credit for Deadpool too. They don't let Deadpool die. They are passionate, and that those pictures are seen. I mean, Deadpool really is, people go, who owns Deadpool? Marvel technically, but Deadpool is owned by the people.
Right.
He's owned by, you can't stop him.
And look at this. What's your favorite cosplay you've ever seen anybody do of Deadpool? As another one comes
These are all,
Hop on up here.
come on, buddy.
Hop on up here. Excuse me, sir. What is your name? I think you gotta put out the sign.
I love it. You know what? I love all the Deadpools. I like casual Deadpool. I like fully armed junior Deadpool. Battle up unmasked, bad acne, scars, Deadpool.
Yeah.
Don't mess with me. Gear to the nine. These two guys, gear to the nine. Love it. Dude, you're looking awesome. Came with Thomas. Awesome.
Elizabethan Deadpool?
Yeah. Or a hoedown.
Private Deadpool.
Oh my gosh, and this guy's got, who has grenade? Oh, you all have grenade. Are you a little late or a little late? Hey, I just can tell from your ponytail. You're awesome. What is your favorite part about Deadpool? He kills and shoots. Yeah! Oh, I'm in so much trouble. He's 18, right? Okay. No, you guys are fantastic. Thank you for coming up here.
Wow, guys.
Everyone get a photo? You guys get a photo? So, no, you guys are fantastic.
Jazz hands Deadpool.
You guys can sit here the whole time. I don't care.
Yeah.
It looks better.
What panel could possibly come after this? I mean, look at this. We've got a Deadpool fashion show with Rob Liefeld himself up here. It's amazing.
Yeah.
There are
We'll get tons of photos of it. Thank you.
He's going to be signing at his booth right over there at 12:30. I think we got to thank him for everything he's brought us over the last 20 plus years of comics. You guys are here with us.
Thanks. Thank you very much.
Thank you guys.